Hi, this is Sean Duffy. This is a big week in the House of Representatives because it's this week that we're going to vote on the deal that President Obama and John Kerry negotiated with the Iranians. Let me be clear. I think this is a horrible deal for America. It's bad for Israel, and it's bad for world peace. It's so bad that Barack Obama didn't even negotiate the release of 4 Americans who are currently being held hostage by the Iranians. This deal, it's an embarrassment and it's a shame. But those aren't the only hostages that have been forgotten. This terrible negotiation has left 52 men and women who were taken hostage during the Iranian takeover of our embassy in 1979 without compensation. I want to take you back to that day in 1979. Iranians attacked the United States Embassy in Tehran. These Americans were held hostage for 444 days. They endured sleep deprivation, physical abuse, mental abuse, and the threat of execution. All the while, their families didn't know the fate of their loved ones. Eventually, their freedom was secured. They came home, but they never received justice for their suffering. In exchange for their release, Iran demanded that the Carter administration sign an agreement known as the Algiers Accord. It barred the hostages from suing Iran for their illegal detention and the torture that they endured. That was unacceptable then, and it is unacceptable today. That's why I introduced the Justice for Former Iranian Hostages Act of 2015. Hostages, including Kevin Hermaning from Wisconsin, deserve the opportunity to seek justice. Here is his story.
My name is Kevin Hermaning. 35 years ago, I was a Marine security guard at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. I was the second last American taken captive. They came rushing in with their weapons, and they took the masks, they took the gas mask bags, and put them over our faces, over our heads, lined us up against the wall, on the floor, facing the wall. I thought we were going to be executed then. I thought we were going to be executed a number of times during the first several months. It was hell. It was hell. I'm glad we got out, but it was definitely a one-sided deal, except for our freedom. The Iranians never have apologized. They've never been held accountable ever in 34 years for what they did to my friends and to me. Something needs to be brought about to take the redress for us. You know, when I think about the legislation that is pending before the House and Senate right now, I'm reminded of the 4 men who took their own lives, who really had a difficult time re-engaging back into society. They and their families have suffered a lot. Their families, to get some type of relief, some type of justice, I think would go a long way to sending a message that not only were the American people clearly behind us, the yellow ribbons, the welcoming us home, but that the government cared as well. That the government is willing to step up and take responsibility for the problems that many of my colleagues endured as a result of our time that we were there. I really hope that the Senate and the Congress and the President will step up and make this happen for those people who can't speak for themselves.
Because of the deal President Carter cut with the Iranians in 1979, these men and women remain the only victims of state-sponsored terrorism who cannot seek judgments in U.S. courts. I don't like President Obama's deal with the Iranians today either, and I'm going to do everything I can in my power to prevent it from happening. However, if Democrats pass this deal, my bill will at least make sure that our former hostages have not been forgotten. No amount of time can fully repair their suffering, but this bill gives us one last chance to acknowledge what they endured while serving our country. The time to act is now. This may be our last window of opportunity to hold the Iranians accountable for what they did to our citizens in 1979. It's my hope that my colleagues in the House and the Senate will support this bill and bring long overdue closure for these men and women.